Designed by renowned architect William LeBaron Jenney, Riverside Cemetery in Moline, Illinois exemplifies the pastoral style of cemetery design prevalent in the 19th century. Because 19th century design was heavily influenced by transcendental concepts of nature, were constructed landscapes such as cemeteries more concerned with ecological intactness or with espousing the aesthetics of the philosophy? Furthermore, how has Jenney's design changed over the past century, and what do these changes indicate in regards to the perceived relationship between mankind and the natural world? Emerson's 1836 essay, Nature, catapulted a new philosophy of transcendentalism to the forefront of 19th century intellectual discussion. Emerson contended that Western philosophy had long dichotomized humanity and nature, separating nature, art, and people from the concept of self. To Emerson, nature was an encompassing term that enveloped all of existence and thus integrated all aspects of human life. Industrialization and the subsequent urbanization of society was distancing people from their innate connection with the earth and each other. Despite the dissolution of the philosophical movement in the 1840s, the effects of the holistic approach espoused by transcendentalists remained culturally prominent, especially in terms of human interaction with the natural world. As human populations increased, so too did the need to accommodate the dead. In the early part of the 19th century, Boston in particular was grappling with this challenge. The problem was both physical and cultural. There was a growing sensitivity amongst the burgeoning middle class to all things filthy, including the garbage and dirt that had previously been assumed as an element of the urban landscape. Dead and decaying bodies were understandably placed within this category, and there was increasing concern about the healthfulness of burial within bustling cities. Burial sites at this time were considered a medical and aesthetic detriment to the urban environment. Aesthetic detriment translated into economic detriment as property values slumped in areas surrounded by burial grounds. And it was this impetus that ultimately spurred the creation of a new and different kind of graveyard. 1826 featured several calls for cemetery designs in Boston newspapers. In a letter to the editor of the Columbian Sentinel, one writer poetically envisioned a peaceful and noble final resting place situated on the hills to the south of the city that would compel Bostonians to visit frequently in hopes of learning, quote, the lesson of our own mortality, and that from those we love, even death itself cannot separate us. Meditations on the cyclic nature of existence were completely in keeping with the tenets of transcendentalism, as was the final cemetery design. Henry A.S. Dearborn, then head of the Massachusetts Horticultural Society, became the chief designer of the cemetery created to fulfill Boston's needs, which was named Mount Auburn. The final design was a triumph of moralized aesthetics, romantic ideals, and municipal needs. Incorporating existing features such as the various wetlands and bodies of water already contained by the site, the landscape lent itself well to popular folklore and purported the sequestration of spirits to ponds and lakes. It was this design that also likely inspired Frederick Law Olmsted, the mastermind behind New York City's Central Park. Born on April 22, 1822, Olmsted came of age during the height of the Mount Auburn Rage. A native to Hartford, Connecticut, it is possible that Olmsted's family, like many other families of the time, made the 100 or so mile journey to visit Mount Auburn. If not in childhood, certainly in adulthood, Olmsted visited the famed Rural Cemetery. Commissioned to help plan and execute what became known as Boston's Emerald Necklace, a series of parks that created a 7-mile-long network around the city, Olmsted also spent much time and deliberation on the design for a university arboretum at Harvard. The Arnold Arboretum is situated less than 10 miles from Mount Auburn Cemetery, and thus could have certainly been a place that Olmsted visited while engaged with the Boston Parks Department. Though there is little evidence of a visit to Mount Auburn, there is proof that Olmsted visited and was impressed enough to write home about a similarly rural cemetery, Spring Grove in Cincinnati, Ohio. Olmsted's designs speak volumes about his inspirations.